my good friend that we never get to. We always meet here and do some boxing. But today I'm in the middle. If there's any overfly, I will block you. Anyway, that's just right. Good morning to our cherished listeners. In fact, George, let's be honest with certain things. At least governance is not so much a difficult task if we enforce our laws. And it goes to show how it's not so difficult to please the Ghanaian people. You see, a country that does not enforce its laws is not worth dying for. And in essence, in the dispensation we find ourselves, democracy, it's about the enforcement of the law. If we don't enforce the law, then there's no democracy. So I think that it is commendable on the part of the new government. At least there had been a shift, unlike in the past where these things went on and were not able to control them. Now, where some of us have a big of a challenge is cracking the whip. Okay. We saw the issue of Sami Jemfi. It was a 14-day suspension, is that not it? And an apology. And now a very serious matter of this nature, we are seeing another 14 days suspension. But there are two folds to these issues, and I will look at both just for the benefit of our listeners. Yeah. Then we remove the nuances of politics here. A very good friend of mine captured this very well, but because he's in the security agencies, I don't want to mention his name. You see, in the Bible, the issue of the woman who was accused of adultery.
Yes.
Why did you think Jesus allowed this woman to go? Because it takes two to tango. Why will you arrest the woman and you didn't bring the man? You saw that he started writing and said, he who have not seen before he finished, everybody had dispersed. Is that not? It's just like in criminal jurisprudence. Before you can prove a bribe, there must be a giver and a taker. Is that not the case?
Yes.
Now, if you look at the Cyber Security Authority head issue, he didn't act alone. Unless, of course, this is the caveat, you understand, this soldier was off duty and decided to provide him with that kind of service.
But that is so.
Yes. So, but if that is not the case, I think the military...
But even if that is the case, is it right?
It's not right. Okay. But I'll come to that. That's why I said the issues are in two folds. Okay. You understand? Okay. So if you look at the examples I set about the woman accused of the adultery and the bribe taking time, I'm driving to something. We cannot just put the suspension on the cybersecurity head and we leave those who deploy the soldier. Because the soldier cannot just go and give protection to somebody if there's no deployment. So this goes directly on the head of the CDS. And when I say CDS, because the buck stopped with him. You've assigned commanders who are invariably in charge of these soldiers. Is that not the case? So if things like that happen, then I think the buck will stop with them. But is it deterrent enough? I think no. 14 days is not deterrent enough. And I think that if we do that, we limit the impact and it doesn't even reflect, or we are disregarding the national seriousness of the matter. Don't forget the president gave the directive. An appointee of the president decided to flout that, that is very serious. And we also look at precedent setting, George. You see, a light punishment to me could signal that other officers could breach some of these things and just go under the radar without having any serious consequences. You understand? And don't forget about the public confidence too. You see, the cornerstone of every democracy, I always say, is what? Accountability. Yes. Is that not it? Yes. So if the president can give this kind of directive and his own appointees can flout it, it raises very serious questions. And George,
but should we also consider the circumstances under which such directive can be flouted up.
Very well. He did indicate that henceforth, per the directive of the commander-in-chief, any form of service to the civilians in form of bodyguarding duties and those, unless the body in charge may have done, they can authorize that. But in this particular case, what is really the need? You see, we underestimate and overlook distance, George. Security is a little things we do. Not every jurisdiction. It plays a very critical role in any security architecture.
That's true.
More or less, it has to take the form of national security when you operate undetected. People should not even know you are the head of the national security, cyber security authority head. But if you move with a soldier, people will question, who is this? I said this example here the last time. Look, I went with a very prominent chief to Accra. No one will even know who we are. And true to my words, we roamed Accra more. Nobody even knew who we were. So these government appointees, I'm just pleading with them. The research is a very serious agenda. And with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he will put you under the distance. But I think that the 14 days is a mockery of the seriousness of the matter. And it shouldn't end, it shouldn't just end with him. We should look at the command as well. Who deployed the soldier? Under what conditions? In disregard to the orders of the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. If this soldier was not deployed and he decided by his own to provide these guard duties to the head of the Cyber Security Authority, then we know that he can also face service in Paris.
Can a soldier determine to do something like that on his own?
I'm telling you, it's advanced, Forsen. Today, I tell you, most of the soldiers you see providing guard duties, following certain politicians to funerals and things, they go uninvited. I tell you.
Oh, really?
They go uninvited.
Not even getting approval from the military.
No. They just, you see, that is why there must be a complete reset at the Ghana Armed Forces. You understand? The soldiers feel that because they have the uniform, even when they are off duty, they can do anything. Look at the activities of land guards. Soldiers are now involved in land guard activities. Who deploys them? They just, you can be somewhere you need their help. You have a friend, you call him, you call his friend, they put their uniform and there they go. The monitoring is so weak in our system. And in the democracy, if civilians don't have control over the military, it weakens accountability and to some extent, the very essence of democracy. That is why some of these issues must not be treated lightly. And I feel that the 14 days is too lenient. At least 1 to 3 months, an apology to the good people of this country, and probably he can be referred to the appropriate authorities that employed him, and probably he can be warned and allowed to go. I don't think this is a sackable offense because it's not a sackable offense. First, you agree with me that we are humans. Sometimes we make some of these things. It's not a sackable offense. I think that we must let the Ghanaian people believe that the set agenda that we are all yearning for, it reflects in its true spirit. You understand? It shouldn't be choosing and picking. Okay. Are you telling me that if this gentleman was not the head of the Cyber Security Authority, granted that maybe it was a lower hanging fruit somewhere, they would have applied the same thing to him? No. Justice must be seen to be done, and it must be what? Equitable.
Okay, all right. So, first, you think this is a sackable offense?
Yes, of course.
Why?
Excuse me. You see, the commander-in-chief gave a directive and you flout it and you think 14 days. But I'm not surprised because when the Ablekuma case, Ablekuma North, all the land guards, all the macho men, they did the embarkment from the presidency. I believe you have the video.
I've seen some video, but I'm not sure.
Yes,
where that video is coming
they were
from.
deployed from the place. They were given military uniform. They were given police uniforms.
You cannot authenticate that.
You have the video, my good brother.
That's what I'm
George.
saying. That yes, I've seen.
Yes, but all that I'm saying is,
I can't really verify it, so let's
if
just
President Mahama really want to fight such cankers, he would have sacked him. Summary dismissal. You see, I keep saying that we can fight corruption only when we start from the top. We can fight certain ills in society when we start from the top with a heavy hand. 14 days. And the man is even going to receive his salary. Yes.
Just 2 weeks.
Yes. He's going to receive the full salary. So what is the use? He's rather going to enjoy from the perks of the taxpayer and then sleeping at home by his swimming pool. I mean, what sort of... And I hear my brother saying, reset. Reset what? They said they were resetting the dollar. They were going to reset Galamsey. And according to, I have it, that the Joy FM gentleman on Galamsey.
Rastus.
Yes. Just last week, he's saying that from January to date, NDC has succeeded in destroying almost every forest. I have it here.
He has come to deny that.
He's come to deny that.
Yes,
So who wrote it?
That report is not coming from him.
I think it was social media.
Yeah.
No, let us not.
He has come to deny that. So let's.
I wish we had the water from Brim River.
Yes.
Here. All that I'm saying is, if the so-called reset agenda will work, which I know it will never work, because if it works, then meaning that the MPP is going to be in opposition. No, it's not working. And believe you me.
Oh, so
really?
You wish the country well?
No, I wish the country well, but the NDC itself is not conditioned to work for the country.
This is what you're referring to, right?
Which one?
If you can just give it to him. This is what you're referring to.
Not this one. There's another one.
This is what you're referring to.
No, not this. I have a video of that one.
The Rastus.
Yes.
This is what you're referring to.
No, not this. This one. As for fake.
What you said, that's exactly what you said. That's exactly
how many forests?
And this is even on his page.
44. That's low.
And this is even on his page.
Can you imagine?
And he's denying it.
Look, he can't deny it. You remember the case of Attorney General and Kwame A+. Everybody knows it. I mean, when they come after you and then they say, hey, my friend, go and deny it. I mean, some of them will, but somebody like me will not deny. All that I'm saying is, if really the president wants to show leadership, a summary dismissal would have been the key. So that everybody...
For a first-time offender?
There's nothing like a first... Go and murder somebody. The person then, you are saying that murderers ought to be let go because they are first-time offenders. It's about the severity of the offense. All that I'm saying is, we want to fight corruption. We want to fight Galamsey. You arrest somebody and then the next minute, all excavators are vanished. And you are saying that we are resetting Ghana. We are rather stealing from the people. The person is going to sit home for 14 days. He's going to still receive all his salaries. Everything thereof. Not going to. Then you might as well have allowed him to work.
Okay. All right.
So, but I'm saying that this is a political journey. And I was expecting more. Maybe I was expecting so much from the NDC. I was expecting, but as always, NDC will come back to disappoint you if you try to believe in them just a little. But I know it's not surprising. I know my brother will come and say that, oh, they've done what? They've done what with 14 days. How will 14 days help to cure the mess that we have in the society? All we are asking is, Ghana must work. And in working, we need to punish people from the very top.
Okay.
And you remember, the soldiers say, obey before complain. And I believe maybe his commander, now they will allow the commander and then the poor soldier, who was commander, you are a security expert. They have a rule, obey before complain. Could he have said no? No, he can't. And then I'm expecting that the poor soldier man will be left out.
Okay.
That is not, he wasn't contracted privately, which I know he wasn't.
Okay. Because we told that investigation is going on. So the 2 weeks is to allow thorough investigation to go.
It will never end because you see, when the Ablekuma North, the thugs did so many ills, they said investigation. What is happening? Nothing. But yet, when an NDC, a supposed NDC, MPP person brought out a video that he's been declared wanted. But yet, those with pictures all over, beating a woman, a poor woman, beating our national deputy organizer. We see them, we know them, but the police are saying that, oh no, they see no evil, they hear no evil.
They said they are investigating, and anybody involved in that particular act will be brought to book. It was in the police statement.
And you believe that?
That's the police.
Oh.
Who else should we believe?
So then we must be happy as well that somebody has been given a 14-day suspension. We must be happy. And then this cycle of, okay, let us polish everything once it's coming from NDC and let us hammer the MPP will go on.
You don't think that what he did was a minor offense?
Minor. What is minor? Who defines minor? President's directive is that we should stop galamsey. And I'm expecting that anybody caught in that enterprise ought to be punished.
I'm not talking about galamsey. I'm referring to the military man who's...
the president...
I mean, the director general who's seen have a bodyguard as a military man.
You see, to punish somebody to serve as a deterrent, it's a motivation. But 14 days, it's rather going to motivate others to do more. After all, I'll go 14 days, I'll still receive my salary.
Okay.
What is good about that?
All right.
Let the person go home. Let a different person come in. And the next person will not even ask for any security. The person will walk on. I move about.
Okay.
You understand? Let us work. Let's stop using the word reset. Let Ghana work.
Okay.
I believe in Ghana working than this whole narrative that Ghana is being reset. Reset with what? With the dollar being advertised at 10 cedis, whilst Abochi man is selling it for 14 cedis. What is this? So,
let me move to
thank you,
Mr. Frio on this. It looks like the appointees from this particular government, of which you are a member of the party, is really listening to directives, because
they don't.
We can talk about the earlier one coming from the Gold Board CEO Sami Jemfi, where there was even a code of conduct put in place, and then we saw what happened subsequently, pardoning away, and then this particular one too. What's going on?
Well, thank you so much. Let me begin by saying a very good morning to my distinguished colleague panelists. Of course, my constituents far away in Afajato South. And then to Pat, my brother Kutin at the back for the good job he's doing. I think you are doing incredibly well. We need to motivate you when the opportunity presents itself. As for my propaganda colleague, MP, we'll meet in the chamber. Before I delve deep into this cyber issue, it is absolutely important for me to... Indeed, His Excellency Mahama did not bring the phenomenon of allergy or these Zongo people, or people who sell dollars by the roadside.
Abochi.
Indeed, we as a people have elected to conduct the affairs of state based on data, fact, and figures, but not what the Abochi does. And so, if indeed my brother wants to go that route, then it's important we remind him that in 2024, when the BOG said the dollar to CD was around 16 point something, the Abochi was selling it to us 20. And so today, even if the dollar is at 10 point something and Abochi is selling it at 12, they are being more charitable to them. 14. They are being more charitable to you. You know, I mean, this is my time, so let me have it.
No, but yeah.
You see, so I think that we must all come together and ensure that, look, the institutions of state must be respected whilst we wage a relentless war on people who do things to undermine the operations of state. It is equally important to let my brother know that today, even if the record doesn't suggest so, but even if there are people in the NDC who are attempted to be practicing galamsey, you realize that the state is applying a kind of might which will make it extremely difficult or impossible for them to persist. Gone were the days where not only NDC people or ordinary Ghanaians, but members of where almost everybody, including, if possible, the leader of the government then, They were doing galamsey, and that galamsey pit got close to the president's residence in his... About the action that duty bearers take. And for me, you realize that Attorney General says that, hey, there are petitions and noise and then allegations of Yamin and the rest being involved in galamsey. Please let the same stroke that is applied to ordinary Ghanaians be applied to them. Let the security agencies investigate so that we establish the truth or otherwise about this. I think that Mahama has really come on a reset note. Now, back to the cyber issue. I would like to respectfully disagree with my learned brother, Kutin, and then, of course, the position stand by my honorable brother is not surprising. But you look at it, the 2 weeks is not a punitive measure.
That is what?
My reading of it is that there is the need for an administrative investigation. Something has happened which previously wouldn't have been any news, because under the administration of Duffuor, you saw the Attorney General when he was going to court. He could be, aided by 610. In fact, the whole battalion.
No, it's just
oh, you haven't seen?
It was just one.
Some could lay ambush on their way. Others will be in the court premises. Look, we saw the electoral commissioner, many appointees of state under the previous government. It took the reset agenda under His Excellency Mahama to say that, look, for God's sake, this is democracy. In democratic arrangements, military operations are not the norms. They are exceptions under extraordinary circumstances. And so you realize that Mahama has come to set the bar so high. That is why this issue will be an issue.
It's not high.
What?
You are beginning.
I'm coming. Good. I'm glad you say that we are beginning.
Yes.
We are taking off from a very broken down foundation and system.
I mentioned it.
Great. No, so the point of departure for me is that the 2 weeks window is not a punitive measure. It is to say that step aside so that you don't meddle in the investigation.
Okay.
The investigation will be full-fledged. It will establish if there's been any act of wrongdoing or not. Once that investigation report is presented, it is then that we walk down the road of whether he should be punished and what the details of the punitive actions will be. I think that is what I want to add as a flesh to the excellent presentation done by my respected brother. The issue is this. If you look at the video, well, I don't know if I haven't properly watched. I just watched it in person. But I thought the military man was even covering, is it the face of it? The face.
So you couldn't be
rightly as he pointed. Look, there's so much zeal out there by some of these security officers to provide services that are not authorized after all. And so the figure involved, if you're not very careful, they will lure you into temptation. I drive sometimes and then one or two will say, oh, honorable, please come, let me lead you through the traffic.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the day, when he does that, you are supposed to part company with something.
He gives no of you.
But then, you see, as a lawmaker...
But then what he has done was not something that was authorized.
As a lawmaker, in the middle of that, if I am caught, who do I blame? I need to blame myself.
You should know better.
Okay, so I should know better. And that is where, respectfully, I think that maybe my brother, if it happened on his blind side, then so be it. Otherwise, could it be that the military man was also among the crowd where he was presenting and he thought that, let me just go and stand behind this man and see if he could take my services. That could also be a possibility, okay? But then, you look at what Mr. Divine Alberti does.
There was a video in his house of this same military person.
Good. So if it's established that this is someone who was around with him, then it could be the basis. It could be the basis upon which the presidency even thinks that, look, some form of violation from what?
The letter says that it describes it as inappropriate and embarrassing to the government.
Absolutely. So maybe let me say in lawyers, the lawyers will say prima facie case of assault, okay? That will warrant investigation. Yes. So my point is that if you look at what he does, trying to preserve, protect the country's database from what? Online attacks, unauthorized invasion. You realize that it's such a precarious sector or space.
Yes.
If you think that there are people who possibly could come after you and that you are convinced that the police could not provide that layer of protection you need vis-a-vis the details of your job, right? It was not a blanket directive that no one should use the military. If in extraordinary circumstances we think that they need to authorize the use of military officer for you, what you do is to take that action. You don't just take a unilateral action in flagrant violation of what? The ground rules as established. These laws are not laws coded in our books, but these are things that Mahama thinks that in order to show that clear difference, to build a Chinese wall between the non-performance of Duffuor and his MPP, as we have it now. Duffuor was better. Duffuor was not like this.
Okay.
So you couldn't just give a blanket attack to the MPP. Duffuor gave us some good quality democratic rule. You understand? This showmanship and all this occurred under a particular regime. And we must call them out with the force we can marshal.
Just a quick one before we go to our next subject. You don't find this worrying that directives will be given and then appointees will go against this directive? Is this not worrying?
It clearly shows that we are not angels. If we were...
But it doesn't show a sign of weakness also in there?
No, the weakness will come if officialdom fail to take action.
After the investigation.
After the investigation.
But just to also
so even just a minute. Yeah. Even the first step of saying, let us investigate further. To establish the details. That for me is commendable. Okay? Now, when it's established that yes, he's taking this action by employing the services of a military man in violation of the code, then we expect more action to be taken. That failure to do that, that is where people could justifiably say that there's some lapse and there's some weakness somewhere.
Okay.
George, you raised a very critical issue.
Quickly,
about the threat to the life of this official given the weight of responsibility in the office he occupies. I think in democracies, especially in Africa, we have to shy away from the military uniform. If you look at many embassies around, they have military attaches, but they go around with them in plain uniforms. I think that is even more important than anything. And I think it's also good we can redeploy the energies of these personnel into other areas. Look at the motorway Nkrumah built. How many years did it last? Look at the roads in our modern day Ghana. 2-3 years, potholes. So I'm happy the minister also mentioned that under the big push, they are going to get the military to be involved in the 6-lane Accra-Kumasi distance. I think it will help us as a country. And let's politicize this process and make sure that we benefit from all of this.
Okay.
For some of these military officers all the time.
Let's make progress. Between 2017 and 2019, there was a massive shake-up in Ghana's financial sector, what was described as the banking sector cleanup. Some banks were caught within that particular web. One of those banks was currently Unibank, which is part of the other banks too. They were caught in this particular web. Now, the Bank of Ghana then cited a lot of issues causing financial loss, corporate governance issues, business models that did not go well, and certain embezzlement that also went on in there. So a whole investigation started, and IOCO went into that particular case to prosecute those who were involved in carrying out those challenges in those banks that forced the Bank of Ghana to close them up. One of those banks, as I mentioned earlier, was Unibank. Now, that case has been going on for some time now. Yesterday, the Attorney General issued a statement, and I'm going to read that statement. It says the Honorable Attorney General has today, that was yesterday, July 22, entered a nolle prosequa in the case of the Republic versus Kwabena, Duffuor, and 7 others. While the exercise of this prosecutorial discretion requires no explanation under law, the Attorney General, in the spirit of accountability and transparency, considers it's appropriate to provide the public with a rationale behind the decision. 1. As may be recalled, the Republic versus Kwabena, Duffuor, and 7 others case formed part of the broader set of prosecution arising out of the financial sector cleanup exercise. Prosecution has been to ensure accountability for public funds and more importantly, recover loss occasioned to the state through various alleged acts of financial impropriety. 3. In pursuit of this objective, the Office of the Attorney General, in collaboration with other relevant state agencies, established a threshold of 60% recovery of the alleged losses to the state as a condition for reconsidering prosecution in specific cases. 4. Following prolonged negotiations and engagement, the accused persons in the Republic versus Kwabena, Duffuor, and 7 others case have met the recovery threshold. Accordingly, in furtherance of the public interest and considering the significant recoveries made to the state, the Honorable Attorney General has satisfied himself that continuing with the prosecution will not serve any additional public purpose. And then 5, the decision, however, does not imply, this is the interesting paragraph, 5. The decision, however, does not imply an absence of wrongdoing nor a vindication of any conduct. It is a pragmatic step in line with the overreaching national interest of recovering state resources. And then the final paragraph says that the Honorable Attorney General remains resolute in his commitment to upholding the rule of law, protecting the public purse, and pursuing justice in all matters of national importance. And this is signed by the Deputy Attorney General, Honorable Dr. Justice Remsai. And Mr. Free, I'll start with you on this.
With me.
Sorry?
Let me start. Let me start.
Now, I'm going to start with him on this. Yes.
This propaganda.
Still confusing. Yes, the reason has been given because there's 60% recovery. So because of that, there's discontinuation.
40%.
So my question to you is that if next time Adjoa Mansa also does same, and then Adjoa Mansa says that, you know what, I am going to pay back, would that be fair?
Thank you once again. I think it's absolutely important for us as a people to ensure that when cases of this nature come, we do not particularize them. Doing so will mean that we are narrowing the space and then failing to find out whether there are processes that are permitted in law, common sense, or otherwise. It is also important for us to take a trip down memory lane. Somewhere in 2017, 2018, under the Nanado administration, we were told that the banking sector was facing issues of insolvency and then weak corporate governance practices. There were various schools of thought. People felt in order to preserve jobs, livelihood, and of course, to ensure that the economy picks up from there, there must rather be government continued intervention with stricter monetary regime. But the government thought using the taxpayers' money to collapse these banks was the best route they could pick. We saw the devastating consequences reflecting in job losses, where bankers who were within the middle to high earning brackets became Uber drivers, chichinga sellers, and all those things. And of course, that cascaded into youth unemployment ballooning to over 30-something. Very incredible. And so it also undermined the economy and then led to a loss in confidence within the financial space. Now, fast forward, government claimed that was the best move and that some people were responsible for the wrongs that were occasioned. Indeed, it's true that if there's ever been a wrong, then there must be an actor behind it. So we saw the UT Bank, Unibank, Capital Bank, and a host of others being sent to court. And then prosecution, started. I think somewhere along the line, in the specific case of Capital Bank, they entered into plea bargain in order to pay a certain amount of money, and then the state agreed somewhere along the line just that they could immobilize the money.
They were to refund the full amount. He had refunded some.
Yeah, but he wasn't
But
able
it
to
wasn't significant
significant
enough.
Yes,
but
he
thank
was
you.
sent to prison.
Thank you. Exactly.
And as we speak, there are some who are calling on the
he was
president
sent
to pardon him.
He was sent to prison. I think we're talking about a year ago.
Yeah.
Now, as a nation, there must be punitive action for wrongdoing. You either take the route of custodial sentence or non-custodial. It's also a matter of what we seek. Sometimes you blend both. You get your asset or money, then you put a custodial sentence on it. When you look at the specific case of the Duffuor and the Unibank, it took the NPP regime how many years? My point is that if there's been preponderance of evidence that was weighty enough, I find it incredibly difficult as to why they failed to reach prosecution within that period of time. So could there be maybe violations which were not grave enough, and yet they were only fueled by political motive?
To answer that bit, that answer can be found in the 5th paragraph of the statement. That says that the decision, however, does not imply an absence of wrongdoing. Nor a vindication of any conduct.
Absolutely.
That's just the first line.
So
it doesn't mean that
there was absolutely no wrongdoing.
No wrongdoing.
Yes,
Exactly.
My point was not to say that there was no wrongdoing. Indeed, we walk around freely as at now. We are not in court. That's because we were not a signatory to anything. Okay. My points, the heart of my submission is that, is there constitutional gravity in terms of violation? If there were, then this number of years, why couldn't the state prosecute him like they did in the Capital Bank case? And so you see, there's in economics, I have never read economics, but this is a matter of common sense. There's something we call time value of money. 60% of a certain money today, 60% of a certain money today, the value of this money today, in 5-10 years' time, that value will be like 20-30%.
Okay.
And so we governance in tune with international best practices. And there is an emerging trend where the world over, cases that involve very powerful individuals in terms of business individuals and people who are networked and wealthy enough, who have the benefit of taking the best legal representation and the rest, they can feed drag cases in court for God knows how many years. And so you are faced with two routes. Either to apply diplomacy, common sense, and a bit of the law, and ask yourself which one is in the interest of the state. That which is in the interest of the state is to ensure that you get some amount of CD back to the kitty in order to make life a bit meaningful for my mother who is selling okra in the market.
Okay.
In order to provide health care for the kidney patient in Kolebu. Now, so that you do not continue litigation for God knows how many years, and at the end of the day, you are not solving problem. And so you realize that...
Fine, I get that. But how punitive is that?
Okay.
What's the punitive aspect in all of that?
It's a developing story, isn't it? The whole thing is a developing story. But for the fact that you have a regime that says that we will be transparent, we will be accountable. I mean, elsewhere, in other regime, even in country here, you could have the AG nicodemously enter into this knowledge prosecutor, okay, so that not much will be known. But then if you have the Attorney General coming out openly with a release, throwing more light on it, then it means that the government of the day is not in position to, as it were, bring darkness onto the an agent-principal relationship that we know of in public administration. When you serve at the behest of the people, you must make room for feedback. And so why I said it's a developing story is that government says that this is what we think will serve the interests of the state now and in the nearest future. It is over to us, the citizens, also to bring our feedback processes as we are doing, as is being done in the marketplace, the trotro station, the university campuses, the security chambers, as Mr. Kutin and the rest will do. I think that the fee is 60%, and if anything can be done about it, I think that in the coming days, we'll be able to.
You're looking at the precedent you're creating and the perception you're also going to create out there. So are we not creating, and I say this advisedly though, a system that is class-based in the sense that when somebody can pay for what they have done wrong, the person can pay and goes cost-free. But if somebody cannot pay, then the person goes to jail.
Okay.
What kind of system are we creating? What kind of perception are we creating? What kind of message are we sending to the people out there who especially voted for the government?
I believe, on a personal note, that in all fairness, there must be application of same stroke for same folks. Okay? You do not vary needlessly treatment of people who are supposed to undergo certain or same process, okay? The consequence must be same in terms of punishment.
Yes.
Now, as a people, I think in the past until now, we have also dwelled on certain things that I think that, in all fairness, we must be sent to prison for 5 years, and the state ends up feeding him whilst confining him.
That's our justice system.
Yeah, that's our justice system, but it revolves. I mean, it's revolutionizing, okay? That's what I'm saying, that best practices are coming, and we must be learning, because it doesn't serve as a deterrent, okay? Motive on the accused or the one who has been, imprisoned, right? That in a manner that finally inures to the benefit of the state. I think that is what I have seen the AG and the government beginning. Yes, we are getting value for money in terms of time value of money now, in terms of not investing. Mind you, the litigation that the state does itself to is a form of investment, okay? The state equally uses a lot of resources, retrieve some of the assets and resources back for the use of state now. I think that some commendation must go to the government.
Can we go for 100% and even a 60%?
Well, I think that the best is 100%. That is the best.
Yeah.
It's also about availability and what the state is able to, through the security network, been able to discover.
Anyway.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
If you say what you have been able to discover, by mind you, time value of money is also good.
The state spent and issues surrounding it.
Have elected a better MP, honestly, this matter. But he turned it into an academic exercise. And I'm so proud of him. I was telling my good friend, Forsen, that he came to Parliament at the wrong time. Because at the time, it's very difficult to communicate for our party. It's as a taxpayer. And you know how much money was involved in clearing this. Over 5 billion Ghana cedis. And you see, Dr. Duffuor is not just an ordinary citizen. He was the former governor of the Bank of Ghana.
But at least
I'm raising a point.
Okay. All right.
So ideally, these are things he shouldn't have been involved in to begin with. And these are very serious. into long term in jail. So it is alleged that they took over 663 and they know very well they obtained this money through criminal activities. If you read the charge sheets, you know. But today, what the Attorney General and by extension the government is saying that the Latins will say nolly prosecuted. They just a fancy Latin, you know. And it's not because they are innocent, but because they are bringing back some of the money.
Yeah.
So basically, George, what it means is that if I should steal 100 cedis,
Yes.
and I can bring back 60 cedis,
Yes. You will not be punished.
I will not be punished.
Yes.
So what happened to the 40 cedis?
After profiting from it.
And look, if you are a serious businessman and you are given 100 cedis and you want to invest it, you can get even 100% return.
Return on it, yeah.
So I think that these are the issues we should be looking at. But government is also saying that this process is pragmatic. They believe that they have recovered substantial funds and they need these funds immediately for our roads and our hospitals. And my brother talked about the present time value of money. But let's put this banking crisis into context. You remember 2017 and 19. It was more or less like watching the dominoes fall. You understand? The UT Bank, Capital Bank, and many other banks that gave birth to Consolidated Bank Ghana today. So what do? We had to pump taxpayers' money, over 5 billion Ghana cedi to save ordinary citizens' deposit. So you look at and how did we even get there? You see, these people, they treated these banks as their own ATMs, borrowing money to their party fellows and things like that. And they're estimating the human cost. Look at what a lot of people went through this process. Some people even lost their lives, lost their livelihoods. And like my brother even said, some became chichinga sellers, Uber drivers. And some of us experienced close relations who were all looking up to. All of a sudden, they were on the ground. Ground zero. In our Ghanaian palace, you see, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. That's why I mentioned Kwabena Duffuor is now an ordinary citizen, a former finance minister, and governor under Rawlings. Is it the case that his government is in power? That is why he's enjoying this? I would say no.
Why? Why no?
They are impeccable records. And I think the Attorney General in his Accounting to the People series he used to do, bringing suspects to come and tell us the charges there. He should come equally and tell us people who have entered into plea bargains and are paying money. I'm telling you. The former appointees have entered into plea bargains and are paying money. So if we particularize this issue, even though it's so grievous, some of us feel that it's not the way to go, then we'll be missing the point.
But
so for the sake of...
The whole idea of a plea bargain and paying these monies back, I am looking at the impression the precinct created. So what? Someone can commit a crime and the person can decide to enter into a plea bargain.
Judge,
and then fine, let's take the money and the person goes cost-free.
I will come to that. I did a very good analysis about the case against and the case for.
Yes.
And this government case for. You see, they feel that recovery is tangible. They feel that 60% in hand is better than 100% tied up in courts. And like my brother said, for 8 good years, Dr. Duffuor and his group were in court. Present time value of money. You understand? They also believe that precedent exists globally. It's not a novelty in Ghana, even in the United States of America.
What they call the non-convention based.
Exactly. They go for some of these things. And government also believe that resources are what? Limited. Look, because of $3 billion, look at what we had to go through at the IMF and the conditionalities attached. And we have to also look at the economic reality. Ghana needs money now for development. At least a bird in hand is worth 1,000 in the bush. That's the government side of the argument. So let's look at the arguments against. To me, justice appears negotiable.
Based on this decision?
Based on this.
Okay.
What message does it send, George? That if you are worthy enough,
The money.
and you can pay back 60%, you can commit the crime. And like you cited an example of petty thieves who steal mobile phones and then goods, and they are given 5 years, 15 years. I saw 2 weeks ago, they sentenced someone to 15 years for stealing mobile phone. That is exactly.
Going to feed him for 50 years.
So, and the second argument against is deterrent is weakened. You see, if potential financial criminals knows that I can go and take this money, and when I'm caught, I only need to refund 60%, why wouldn't I do it? And there's also the issue of inequality in justice. And this doesn't augur well for our democracy. And the transparency questions. How was this 60% threshold determined? How was it determined? Who negotiated it? And what exactly was recovered? Was it in cash? Was it in assets or promises? Don't forget, the Capital Bank CEO is in jail. He was convicted for the same crime. In his plea bargain, he agreed to return the money 100%.
That he wasn't able to.
He was not able. He brought some. So, under the current policy of government, I'll say government because the Attorney General acts on behalf of what? Government. It means that it is not right for this man to continue to be in jail. Because the money he paid to the state was more than the 60%. These people are paying and going free. So on that singular score and on the basis of morality, I will urge the president to do the needful.
Which is?
To pardon.
No, but these are two different things, Putin.
No, listen. No,
these are two different
Listen. He was...
yes.
Listen.
Yes.
He entered a plea bargain with the state, correct?
It was after he was convicted. When they were in court, and then later he was found guilty, and he was given the opportunity. The judge in that particular case allowed that he and the Attorney General...
By George?
No, hold on. He and
George,
the Attorney General...
is the Attorney General saying that Kwabena, Duffuor and Co are not guilty of the offense?
Just hold on.
They are not saying they are not guilty.
So there was a conviction.
Yes.
In court.
In court, yes.
And then the judge said that, you know what, if you are entering into a plea bargain,
you should bring all the money.
Agree with Attorney General on the basis. Well, they did some agreement, but he wasn't able to meet it. And then finally the judge gave his sentencing. This one is in court. No conviction has been given yet. And so this is what Attorney General has entered.
George,
so you see, so these are two different
There are two different things, but let's put them in context. A nulli prosecutor doesn't mean you are not guilty of the offense. The government is only simply saying that we are not
interested in continuing the case.
Because then I'm saying that if this is the new policy direction, convicted or not convicted, they were all being in court for the same offenses. Is that it? Okay. Probably Kwabena Duffuor had good lawyers who could, as you know, as lawyers do, pull in the plugs to prolong the case. You understand? He didn't have good lawyers, and I'm talking on the basis of equity and morality here. I'm pleading with the president. The gentleman is even in poor health, Forsen. The gentleman is even in poor health.
I'm glad that he's in jail for what, 5
You see, so now there are questions we Ghanaians actually, George, we need to ask.
Yeah, quickly on that, let me go to.
Like exactly how much was recovered? We want to know.
We don't know yet.
In what form? We also want to know what government wants to do with these funds. To me, such funds should be ring-fenced for specific and tangible development projects that we can see that after entering into this kind of plea bargains and this was the amount of money recovered, these are the results we can show for. Is that not it? I think when we do that, it will help us. And what mechanisms are there to ensure that the accused fulfill these obligations? You see, and then are there other conditions beyond the 60% that you and I don't know? So these are lingering questions that Attorney General will have to address the country. Okay. He should come back with his accountability series on this issue. Let us know the number of people he has entered into plea bargains with. And for the avoidance of doubt, for the first time, OSP has had successful prosecution after spending so much money on that state agency. Okay. And what was it? Plea bargain. The people agreed to pay back the money. We need to know. In a democracy, accountability is the cornerstone of every democracy. Okay. So we can do some of these things in secrecy. Thank you, George.
All right. I understand that you'll be taking leave of us.
Yes. After this subject, yeah.
So to our listeners and viewers, if you don't hear from Mr. Kuti again, he's taking leave of us. We'll have our third guest who will join us for the third conversation before we wrap up. Mr. Forsen, this particular issue we are talking about, and what has come out of it? Yes.
I believe nothing about the Attorney General surprises even the devil. He has two things in common. No, that is the truth.
No, but that's unfair.
No,
Mr. Forsen, that's unfair.
Let him tell you.
No, that's unfair.
He has two critical things in common. One, media engagement, and then dropping cases. And believe you me, I doubt Dr. Duffuor and his
Duffuor.
Dr. Duffuor has paid a cent.
You doubt that?
You see, let him ask. I'm a business person. I stole 700 million. Over a long period, profit from it, maybe 100 foots, not even 10. Then after years, the state asked me to pay just 40%, 60%, which is just a little over 50%. And then we are happy with it. In his own statement, he's saying that there are wrongdoings. And we shouldn't. That is what I'm saying. Prosecution and fighting of corruption ought to start from the top. And it can only serve as a deterrent when we punish people. Take the money, take the interest, and let the people go to jail. That is the only way this Ghana will change. Because the woman, Agrada, takes 500 Ghana or something. Yes, that is the reported case. And then she's in for what, 15 years. Somebody steals 700 million. He steals 700 million. And then we are saying that, because you're a party man. Because the money, when you stole, you shared among us. So now, we are in power. So go free. He hasn't paid any 60%. Believe you me, he hasn't.
You're sure of that?
Yes, I'm sure. If he has paid some amount, I mean, I know the Attorney General. He would have called the media. You know him. He would have called the media, stating that on this day he paid 10 cedis. We've taken where that star building. We've taken this. You know the Attorney General. That is his.
Or maybe he might come out with further information on this. So
Believe you me, I'm saying that.
you're not aware of that. You're just speculating.
Look, the
and
money
we can't base final conclusions on
over
speculative
the money,
issues.
700 million 10 or 12 years ago. The man has used the money, and we are saying that because he's a party man, he should just pay 40%, 60%, quote unquote, which hasn't been paid, and then we should let him go. Are we?
When you say which hasn't been paid, you're not sure of that. You don't know whether that amount of money has been paid or not.
Okay, he has paid.
And based on the statement from the Attorney General, it's a whole conditions they've put in place.
No,
So,
Judge, let
the
me land.
Attorney General said that 60%
Has been paid.
Yes.
Out of the 700 million. No, you know what? The man has used the money, worked with it for over 10 years. Any good business person will within a year will make more than 100%. So we are talking about 10-folds of that amount. That's 7-point-something billion. And then you didn't ask him to pay double that amount, but you are asking him to pay just over 400 million. And because you know what, we all know he took the money from then Bank of Ghana, shared it among the NDCs, and they are back, and then they have to free him. We cannot build this nation, and we can never fight corruption based on this tangent.
Yeah.
Look,
What prevented the previous administration from going ahead to just finish this case once and for all?
but we are in court. We are in court. Look, there are no court cases which has taken over 20 years.
Okay.
There are court cases.
So then it justifies the reason for a non-conviction-based asset recovery.
No.
Because one of the reasons for a non-conviction based asset recovery is that usually it takes a longer time.
You know, you know what is going to happen. You know, there are current appointees, they are current appointees.
Okay.
The current appointees, which unfortunately my Afajato brother is in Parliament, so he will not enjoy the apex. They will go about, take all state money in billions, and you know what will happen? When they are caught, they will be asked to pay only 60% of it.
Who will be asked to pay 50%?
The Attorney General, your friend.
He's not my friend.
My brother's friend.
He's our Attorney General, Minister of Justice. He's
Yes,
not my friend.
but he's good at two things: meeting the media, and then secondly, what do you call it? What's the name? Dropping cases against the NDC. That's the only two things that he's good at. And he's doing a very good work for the NDC, I must say. He's doing a exceedingly good work for the NDC. And he's helping the MPP. In the sense that we now have a message to tell the Ghanaian that why they have to bring us back to power come 2028. Because now...
You've still not answered my question, why the previous administration did not prosecute this
But
case.
we're in court.
You could have just quickly finished up with it.
George, as if the courts are there, the legal processes takes time.
It wasn't the same process that got Matthias here.
You answered it earlier. You said maybe his lawyer wasn't that good.
I didn't say that. It was Kutin who said
Okay,
that.
then. Lawyers, you know, they will put impediments upon impediments, but then it will get to a halt someday. All that I'm saying that, look, there is no prudent way of managing our resources. If you ask people who have stolen a lot, 700 million, and then you tell the person, oh, it's okay because you're a party man, just pay 60% of it and go home and then take all the interest, including the 40%. We are running at a loss. But they are saying that they need money. The Aura, they said there was about 21 billion or 23 billion dollars. Where is those money? Where are they? Frank.
Finish up if you.
No, you see, we are using a decoy of we need money. You need what money? No, you need money. You said you needed money. Yeah. Prior to you coming to government, you said MPP apparatus have taken as much as $23 billion. Now, the man who has stolen our money, 700 million, you are asking him to go scot-free. You are asking him to pay just 60%. After enjoying so much from them, after profiting so much. I mean, what sort of... You are rather serving a motivational, threshold for everybody to move into it. That every appointee now go out there, steal from the states, and then you'll be made to pay only 60% of it. Is that their so-called reset agenda? Is that it? Please. Let us promote this Ghana in a better sphere that everybody will be proud of this Ghana. What we are seeing is as though this Attorney General, this government, came purposely to serve its interests, its people, and it's not helping Ghana.
Okay, all right. Just a quick overview. There's oral.
Yes, the money.
And then we've also heard, I mean, the last time the Attorney General had a press conference, talked about issues concerning plea bargains here and there. How do you reconcile the two? Where there is oral in place, and then there's also plea bargain. At the end of the day, maybe we might recover some amount of money, but what happens to those involved? What happens to those who are supposed to be prosecuted? And with the whole background of oral, yes, you are recovering, but also going to prosecute. And the whole legal term of plea bargain, isn't it a contradictory coming from the government?
Okay, so before I come there, briefly, I don't know if my respected honorable colleague was expecting the AG to have put the 60% resources that is supposed to be retrieved from Duffuor and Co. Into Ghana Must Go and bring to an outer press engagement center for him to believe. You see, matters of state are matters that can easily be fact-checked. So the doubt he has expressed, surprises me. If you really want, we are in an era where your government pass information, right to information bill. Just walk the process and go and find out whether what has been put out there is true or not. This we don't need to belabor. Okay? It's also important to know that every government has what defines it. We have come to meet an economy that was in shambles. Everything was down to its knees. Who presided over that economy? The people of Ghana gave you a mandate for 8 good years. Within this period, when you realize that some wrongs have been occasioned, is it the case that you love Duffuor so much and you hate Atuesian of Capital Bank? That's why you prosecuted Atuesian successfully and you left Duffuor off the hook. It is true that these two different banks have been involved in what they call the banking sector crisis. But you couldn't say that the extent of wrongdoing was the same. No. The amount, the capital injection we talk about and all other things, they were not the same. And so, if it's the case that every other thing has been held constant, as the economists would say, we wouldn't be visiting this issue today. You couldn't prosecute Atu and leave Duffuor. And so, as you clearly pointed, that prosecution can go on for 20 or more years. Bottom line, value of your whatever it is that is at stake is diminishing, is depreciating. Okay? You couldn't even use what is at hand, as it were, to inject back into the economy for the sake of Ghanaians. And so we think that something must define us. We must not allow wrongdoers to go off the hook, but take what belongs to the state first, inject it into something more useful so that it benefits the people. Then the next leg will be, look, if there are further punitive action, then you apply. This is so simple. And that is what the regime is doing. This whole talk, look, are you aware today, as we are here, MPP appointees are running. In fact, maybe he is not aware. They are running faster than the cheetah, going to the AG and other places to plea bargain.
To do what?
To plea bargain. To pay back. Look, these are issues that the AG will come out in due course. You said he likes transparency, he likes interacting with the media. Let that be our strong point. If you think that is a weak one, let it be a weak one. We have taken it like that. Very soon, we'll put it out there. Members of your previous regime who are running now, to pay back. The looted things.
Is the government, for that matter, the NDC, not putting itself in the web that Ghanaians might find it difficult to forgive? Because part of your campaign promise is to prosecute anybody who has embezzled any state funds. But if now Ghanaians are getting the impression that you might be entering into plea bargains just for people to repay without prosecution.
You see, so George,
what perception are you creating for
I think I get the kernel of what you're trying to put across. You look at it and you come to appreciate that as we speak, there are cases in court which involve appointees of the previous regime. The Edubuahin guy.
Yes.
The Signal Bureau boss.
Yes.
Huge amount of money. To the extent that drama unfolded the last time in court, where the wife to Edubuahin had to sack Atachian, your own former MP, and say he wasn't doing a good job because they have seen something that no, something was coming. And so the government is walking a very meticulous path.
Okay.
Depending on the weight of the case, where you think that no, this one is winnable, you can win. Retrieve what is a resource back to the state, but you punish dearly the wrongdoer. But if you weigh on a scale, nominal or whatever scale, and you realize that no, this case can take you 100 years, and the state will use so much resources in prosecuting it, and God knows what the end result will be. What do? If you are a government that is being governed, a government that has common sense as your watchdog, what you do is to go for what is available for the people.
All right. Okay. Let's see how things will unravel. Suppose unless you have something else to add on to this issue. We'll make progress quickly.
Yes, nothing. I hope he's not one of those running to go and plea bargain.
All I would say is, I've said it earlier. Our very good friend, our elderly brother, whatever he does, the devil, it doesn't even surprise the devil.
That's not fair.
No, there are two things.
They don't say it.
Okay, whatever he does, it doesn't surprise the Ghanaian.
Okay.
Because one, he's dropping all cases, criminal cases against the NDC. Now, he's giving waivers. I mean, who does that?
Okay.
Somebody steals $1 billion. After 10 years, you are telling the person that, oh, pay only 600 million out of it. And then he will rush to the media. I wouldn't be surprised if he will be the first, minister to be taken out.
All right. Yes. Let me quickly go to the phone lines. I'm going to talk to a private legal practitioner, Musa Ahmed, who's joined us on the line. Ahmed, good morning to you. Hello, Lawyer Ahmed, good morning.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
All right. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us this morning. Let's start off. What do you make of the Attorney General's statements concerning the discontinuation of the case against Dr. Duffuor and 7 others, and the recovery of 60% of whatever amount of money that he's supposed to be engaged in that has been embezzled? Allegedly, though.
Well, thank you very much. I've heard some of the panelists expressing their views about what has taken place in respect of Dr. Kwabena. Now, the question one should ask is, why would Parliament pass such a law? Why would Parliament pass such a law? Did Parliament pass such a law just for the sake of it or for a purpose?
You're referring to a plea bargain law?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It is my considered opinion that the state is moving away from this business of punitive punishment, deterrence, as many people have supported. In my opinion, if the state has instituted a law in place in modern times, this is a law that came into effect not long ago.
Yeah.
So the state has, since the inception of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Criminal Procedure Act 1960, and their amendments. Before that, we had the colonial ordinances, which dealt with criminal offences and procedures. Now, we've moved away from the medieval system of merely punishing offenders, people who have embezzled state funds. we send them to prison, we buy food to feed them in prison. At the end of it, we don't recover anything, we don't gain any benefit from it. Now, Parliament deemed it fit as a representative of the people to pass a law that would enable the Attorney General to have a settlement with accused persons for purposes of recovery of at least a part or all of the fund stolen by accused persons. And so for me, if the Attorney General has been prudent to recover some money to us rather than sending the man to prison for the state to lose money, who cares about the man going to prison? We, the taxpayers who buy food, accommodation, electricity, pay warders and all that to keep the man in prison. Is that what we want always? No. If for any reason we can recover part of the money or all of the money and use the money wisely, apply it to other areas of the economy where we need it. We need schools. We've been seeing people sitting under trees, living in dilapidated buildings, and not having tables and chairs to study. If we can recover something, I think we should rather commend the Attorney General for what he's doing rather than condemn him. Because you see, our minds are tuned to punishing offenders always. Because that's what we are used to. I have you stopped to ask yourself, what benefit do you get if you send the man to prison? So for me, I support a pragmatic system which leads to public interest. You can talk about that. You can also talk about sometimes there is insufficient evidence. So the Attorney General in his thinking will know that, look, if I pursue this case to its logical conclusion, I'm sure there could be a technical knockout. And the accused persons will end up going scot-free. If that is the case, why don't we strike a deal? So at the end of it, there will be certainty of outcome, there will be efficiency in the judicial system. We can also talk about the victims' considerations. These are matters.
And what about the fight against corruption? How can this also help reduce the corrupt acts and practices in the system?
You see, sometimes people do not want to learn from history. I want to learn from history.
Okay.
How many people haven't we jailed since we became a republic or when we gained independence? Has the fact that people have been jailed reduced the offenses of corruption by public officers, stealing by public officers? No. You see, I'm not saying they have to make a wholesale application of the law on plea bargain. That's not what I'm advocating.
Okay.
We have to look at the circumstances of each case. Okay, it has to be a case by case, on a case by case.
Hello, Mr. Ahmed. Hello. Oh, looks like we're having challenges with his line there. That's Lawyer Musa Ahmed picking his thoughts on this particular issue concerning the Attorney General and a statement on Dr. Kwabena Duffuor with 7 others, a case in court which is being organized by, handled by Yoko. And according to the Attorney General, there's no need to continue this case based on certain systems that have been put in place, something that Attorney General described as being pragmatic to recover 60% of the funds in place here. And the state, according to the Attorney General, does not want to continue with this case. We'll try as much as possible to establish contact with him. When we do, we put him back on the line. But let's quickly, with the rest of the time that we have left, talk about the media budget review that is expected to come off tomorrow. And the finance minister is expected to present this in Parliament. And the media budget review is also in line with Section 29 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, which mandates the Minister of Finance to update Parliament on the execution of the national budget and provide an outlook for the rest of the fiscal year. We've been joined in the studio by Martin Ohene-Enim. Martin is a PhD finance candidate. He's a chartered financial economist and a chartered accountant. He plays with a lot of numbers and figures too. Martin, good morning.
Good morning for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Sure.
Let me start with you, though.
Yeah.
Inflation is looking good.
Sure.
Exchange rate looking good. Real GDP looking good.
Yeah.
With oil looking good. Reserves looking that good too. Would you say that mid-year-wise as a country we've performed very well?
Yes, as academicians, the health of when you go to the hospital, there are certain vitals that the doctor will check to be able to appraise your condition, and that also got to do with the economic issues. We look at certain macro indicators to be able to make conclusions as to how the health of any economy is. So as you rightly mentioned, the city has gained strength by appreciating about 42.6% up to the mid-year. We see a very strong disinflation trend. We are now looking at 13.7. The expectation is that we may even hit single digit by the end of the year. We see a strong collaboration between the fiscal side and the monetary side on how to tackle issues relative to the exchange rate, inflation, and GDP. So all these things are moving towards the north or the positive side because the macros are improving. We see the fiscal side too. Our debt to GDP has improved over the period. Born out of one, we pay some Eurobond, and so also restructuring some of the debt. So it gives you some space with a growth in GDP, which is the denominator. So you see some upward improvements in your debt to GDP ratio and give confidence to the local capital market and then even the external lenders as to how to deal with you, and even impacted our credit rating over the period. You know, there was a revision in our credit rating by Fitch Global, and we then have been moved into a better category. They are all indicatives of how we have performed over the period. The only thing we want to see is that we see the mid-year budget. I think it's a good control mechanism. What it does is that it makes you to appraise what you have done over the period. You actually set out some revenue and expenditure targets during the beginning of the year. Probably the outturns may be different, so you need to readjust. And the revenue and expenditure is not just for it, but they are tailored towards achieving certain programs and then effectively achieving the macro targets that we want to achieve. So if we are not generating those revenues or we are not spending that much, it means that those programs will not be implemented and we may not come out with those targets that we seek to achieve. My expectation is that...
Before you go to your expectation, the argument also is that, yes, these figures are looking good because government is not spending, because government is not paying contractors, because government is not investing into those capital expenditure and those infrastructure in there. So yes, maybe it's looking good. Not even maybe. Yes, it is looking good, but it's because not much has been expended into it.
That I can agree to some extent that the fiscal side have not been that aggressive, that expansionary as we would have been expected, and I think it was born out of many of the investigations they are doing on their outstanding liabilities that they assumed when they took up office. You can't begin to spend. It's prudent that as part of any governance system that the liability on your table, you don't begin to pay. You ascertain the veracity and the accuracy of those liabilities before you begin to pay same. So that has delayed, that has caused the reason why governments have not been spending, and it helped in the FS conversation, because if government is not spending, then aggregate demand goes down. Then that reduces demand for forests, and then impacts on the FS. But we can also take away the work of the monetary side on that, because they continue to hike the policy rate, and that has helped to mobilize excess liquidity in the financial market. That is causing the inflation trend and not reducing aggregate demand on the. And
even on that, can we still have inflation go down if government or the fiscal side starts pumping in terms of spending? maintaining that policy rate? Because the argument we've had in the past is that the reason we usually have inflation going up is because of the policy rate, and sometimes because we have to increase the policy rates to bring inflation down. In the past, we did that several times. Inflation did not come down. But the difference in here is the physical side. So if the physical side begins to pick up, can we have inflation go up?
You see, one thing that and that clarity must be brought to bear, that monetary policy does not target the immediate, what's the name, inflationary target. If we look at the outcomes and the briefings that the governor normally brings to the table, what monetary policy seeks to achieve is to address medium to long-term inflation. So what we are seeing now are as a result of monetary policy decisions that have been taken in the past.
Okay.
What am I trying to say? They signal the threats to inflation, global developments, fiscal spending, and that guides them as to what policy rates they will set to mitigate those potential spending that may come in the economy.
Okay.
So they hike the policy rate to mitigate those exposures. So what I'm saying is that whatever monetary policy decision that is made, it takes into effect future expectations of spending that may come up in the economy, so that it helps to mitigate those exposures and control the kind of inflation that we will seek to do. So what I'm trying to say is that in their monetary policy decision, when they go to the table, they look at the risks. What are the global developments? What the fight between Israel and this? How will that impact inflation and global crude petroleum prices? It means that the expectation is that prices of petroleum products will go up. Now, that will trigger inflation. So that inflation is a cost-driven side, because it's a disruption relative to the supply side. So it may impact cost. So, but the demand side must not also meet it. Otherwise, we move to the point where we call the hyperinflation.
Okay.
So what monetary policy does is to mobilize the excess liquidity and then reduce the pressure on the inflation.
In terms of your expectations.
My expectation is that I want us to take away the COVID levy. which is embedded in our VAT regime. It has an effect of cascading or having inflationary pressures, because when you look at the computation, it doesn't make some sense in terms
economic sense.
It doesn't make some sense.
Yeah.
So the expectation is that in the earlier budget that was read, the finance minister stated that they are having a technical engagement with IMF to see how they could restructure that. My expectation that should be taken to bring some relief and respite to Ghanaians relative to those items that they pay. The good thing is that the Gold Board, which has been instrumental in helping to curtail the ills in our forest regime, which is a new structural introduction. The expectation is that going to the foreseeable future, if we continue on that trajectory, I see the gains in our forest regime will be sustained.
Good. All right. Let me pick some thoughts from the faucet.
Unfortunately,
the media.
Today Martin has spoken more like an NDC person than my good friend Frank.
No, this
But let me
is
add this. But one report is that
yes.
whilst the rates are going down, I think BOG should look at the liquidity. It's not enough to support
Okay.
imports. Importers are.
So does this make you an MPP person now?
No, he's already done. He's already done Frank's job.
Quickly, let me pick your final thoughts. And I'll pick same from
all that I'm saying is, with all the numbers, positive, is it reflective in people's pockets?
Well, that's another conversation. So,
No, but I'll tell you, my expectations, the man will come there, say that there will be zero taxation, but he will introduce taxes. Now we are settled with, when you buy a fuel for a gallon, you are being paid 450 pesos. I'm expecting that corona tax be taken off.
Okay.
And that of the COVID tax.
Yeah.
I'm expecting him to be truthful to the Ghanaian.
Okay.
He says he has principle. He bears my name.
Yes.
Atuforson.
Yes.
He's my younger brother, though.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm expecting him.
You are related in any way?
No, we are not.
Okay.
But he's my younger brother. I mean, he's a younger brother. He's the age of Frank. So. All that we are expecting is that, look, whatever good intent they have, people are complaining. The cost of living in Ghana is so high. Strangely, it's only in Ghana that the city has gained so much strength, but the cost of duty is so high. I don't. That bit of
I think
economics.
the president has directed that something be done about that.
Yeah, but we use forex to calculate that. Is it that the BOG has a forex of 10 cedi to the dollar, Abuja has 15 cedi to the dollar, and then the ports they have 20 cedi to the dollar? Is that the case? Okay. Go to the marketplace. You cannot buy tomato.
Oh, really?
It's so expensive.
Now?
Now.
It's in season.
You see, you're also defending it.
I'm not defending. I'm just telling you what's on the market.
We don't have to defend this government.
No,
they are ripping us off. They are ripping us off.
I'm just telling you what's in the market.
They told us that they are coming to reset Ghana, change everything for the good of Ghana.
Okay.
But we are now suffering.
Right.
The Ghana, look at Galamsey. Mm-hmm. Everything is backwards.
We have a program to quickly pick, so let me pick Sophia's thoughts. Briefly.
Let me commend him. He's giving a very clinical analysis of the health of the economy. I think that I aspire to the days where I could sound very clinical, technical like him. When someone does something, no. For me,
let me have it finished. We have to.
No.
There's accountability series that's coming up.
Because Martin has done.
We're going live, please.
Reality is that simple questions. Is the city doing well?
Okay.
Fundamental, good. Is the inflation okay? Very fundamental. I mean, your man has said it that when the fundamentals are weak, what we were supposed to do. The exchange rate.
Which man?
Today, my constituents in Afaja are so happy. Those who transact businesses in Togo and other places, the exchange rate, the cedi is doing so well after years of volatility and inflationary trend. The stability we desire, the stability we desire is here.
Thank you.
So my expectation is that the big push and others should come quickly.
Okay, thank you. All right.
The finance minister has
sorry we have to make it that short, but there will be another opportunity for us next week. All right. By the way, there'll be another one too. So thank you very much for your time. Have a good day. Focus will be back same time next week. We have the government accountability series that's going to continue today. And then thank you very much for your time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.